Hi guys, I'm speechless. I'm still emotional. I don't even have enough words to describe how amazing this episode was. But before I get into my review, if you're new to this channel, hello and welcome. I used to summarize the latest Erkenci episode, say what I liked, what I didn't like, predict what happened next. And yeah, this is the last Erkenci review that I will do because Erkenci has ended, which is still breaking my heart, but at the same time I'm kind of happy to see Canım like this. But anyways, if you like these kinds of videos or videos that I do in general, subscribe to my channel, like, comment, share, click on the bell to be notified whenever I post something. And yeah, let's get into the review. We see the last scene from last episode. So the next day we have Sanem packing up her things, Mihriban being really sad that Sanem is going away, but she's not actually going away to another country. She's just moving out the house, moving back in with her parents. And then Mihriban gave her the keys to the house because she says, now that's your house. It was like within the first 5 minutes I was already crying at that scene. I was like, this is going to be an amazing episode. Sanem says that she has to go away because it's better for her and Can to be apart, and it's not really a goodbye, it's just to see you soon. Then we see Can talking to Dagan, saying that he'll be at the agency very soon because he just wants to pick up Sanem so they can drive there together. But when he goes to Sanem's place, everything is empty, she's not there. So he thinks that she already left without him, but she's gone. Oh yeah, what I really loved this episode was that it was mainly Canım. The main focus was on Canım. You got a few bits here, bits there with JJ, Muzo, Dagan, Mevkibe, Nihat, just to keep the story kind of going, to have a nice transition between the Canım scenes. And I love JJ and Muzo so much. They were hilarious. And then because JJ is not allowed to be part of the meetings, he put a camera in Can's office, and then it's just, oh my god, it was hilarious. Anyways, getting back to Canım, Sanem arrives at her parents' place, and what I've noticed is that they don't really ask her questions, so they just accept her decisions and do whatever she wants. But Mevkibe knows that something is wrong, because why would Sanem come back? Nihat is like, just don't worry. And we see Can coming to the agency being quite frustrated and looking for Sanem, but she's not there. And JJ has once again this feeling that something bad happened or is going to happen. So kind of referring to the Canım situation. Then we have Sanem talking to Nihat and Mevkibe. Leyla and Emre are there as well. And when Nihat and Mevkibe go away, Leyla is questioning Sanem. Why is she here? Does it have to do anything with Can? Blah blah blah. And she says she needed to get away because it's better for them, and she also said that it's just too much and she just wants to go back to her roots. Then we have Can at the agency not being really focused on what Dagan is showing him. Dagan notices it. Layem comes in, Emre stays with Can, and Leyla takes Dagan out, tells the whole team, so JJ, Muzo, Dagan, the situation with Sanem, that she moved back. Emre also tells Can. Can is playing like, I don't care, whatever. But you kind of see that it's bugging him. Then Archie comes to the agency to watch the prototype of the ad. Can is very absent, wants to finish that meeting quite quickly. And Can walks out because Archie approved of the prototype, blah blah blah. She then asks Dagan where Sanem was. Dagan tells her that Sanem is no longer part of the agency. And that look on Archie's face, I was like, girl, you're turning into Polen 2.0. I used to like you in the last episode, but girl, I don't like you anymore, because I've seen the way she looked at Can and I was like, Anyways, while all of this is happening, we see Sanem going back to the shop, wanting to be a salesperson once again, looking after her father's shop. And what I've noticed is that she had the same body on that she had on when she had the first photo shoot with John, where none of them knew who the photographer and who the model was. So yeah, just a little side note there. Then we see Sanem selling stuff, blah blah blah, being all happy. John appears. He comes in. She says, what do you want? He says, the shop. I'll take all of it. I don't care about the price. Then there's this back and forth between them, her telling him that she got tired of trying to make him remember things, and telling him that she's the old Sanem living in the neighborhood, working in her father's shop. And then he says, you were like that, but not anymore. And then Sanem says, well, you were the John that I wanted to travel the world with, but you're not the same anymore. And then her telling him that he can go back to his old life because that's what she's doing, and him feeling bad for Sanem because she was the one who suffered the most after the accident. And then Sanem says, well, we tried our best, it didn't work, hopefully now all of us can be happy. And he says hopefully, and this sadness in his eyes, I was like, God. Then we have John driving away, him crying in the car, her crying in the shop, him remembering the time he called her in Ava when she was almost falling down the cliff. So many emotions were in that scene, and in general in this episode it was just 100 out of 10. Then in the evening we have John and Meriban sitting on Sanem's steps, just talking about the situation. John being quite sad and telling her that they broke up, even though it feels weird for him to say that because they weren't quite together. And then her telling him that it's not over, asking him if he's really ready to lose Sanem. So I really like this relationship between them, because she's kind of a substitute mother to all of them, especially John and Sanem. Then we have Sanem and Nihat talking about a new venture, delivering groceries, and then the next day they buy a scooter. And that scene was so amazing when both of them were anxiously waiting for the first order to come in. And then the first caller is actually Mevkebe telling Nihat that he needs to take his medicine. It was just so amazing. And then as soon as Sanem hung up, a real customer called and she was like, what is it, mother? What is it? And then it's a real customer ordering something. It was just so hilarious. And then her driving there. Then we have this whole montage of Sanem delivering things and John being in this meeting presenting their ad, their idea, their campaign. And then when the meeting is over and John is about to walk out, Aichi stops him and then she says something like, yeah, I understand your situation, we're so alike, blah blah blah, I'm here if you want to talk. And then he puts his hand on her shoulder, you know, and wants to go, but she takes his hand and I was like, oh my god, like how desperate are you? And even his looks is like, what the hell are you doing? And takes his hand away. And then when she says, if he ever needs a distraction, she's here, I'm like, how cheap are you? Seriously, have some dignity, lady. So after the meeting, the cosmetic company wants to look at other presentations, other campaigns, and Fikri Haraka has to wait to get the news. So while they were waiting, JJ and Musa are looking online, I think it was only JJ, and sees that Sanem is now delivering groceries, which is very important later on. Anyways, after the presentation, John wanted to be alone, so he's at the seaside, and let me tell you, it looked so weird to see him sitting there. Anyways, we see Sanem in the background on her scooter. She sees John sitting there alone. She loses control of the scooter, has a minor accident. Everybody is running towards her, seeing if she's alright. He comes as well, wants to help. Then he recognizes her, and that scene was hilarious. I loved it so much. Anyways, Sanem kind of plays dumb, doesn't want any help from John. John is like, don't be like this, come on, let's go to the hospital, blah blah blah. And she's like, get your hands off me, who are you even? And then he's like, what do you mean? Well, who are you? And then she plays the I don't remember you because of the accident card, and he gets so angry and so frustrated with her. How can you lose your memory that easily because you have a huge helmet? It's not that easy. crazy? How can you not remember me? And everybody is trying to protect Sanem from crazy John. It was just amazing. Anyways, she drives off, says she doesn't have anything. Then we have everybody at the agency anxiously waiting for the news if they got the campaign or not. John is coming quite relaxed. Ayça comes as well to deliver the news personally and tells them that they got the campaign. Everybody is really happy. She invites the whole team and of course Sanem as a special guest to a house party in Bykos to celebrate their victory. Emre tells John to personally invite Sanem. Emre is like, no, don't go there because she won't pick up her phone. We see Sanem in Nihat's shop. Mefkebe and Nihat sitting outside. John comes, Sanem sees him. Her voice tells her, quickly go outside so he doesn't have the chance to talk about the accident with Nihat and Mefkebe. So she runs out, is like, John, and he's like, oh, you remember me. So you healed quite quickly after the accident. And of course, Nihat and Mefkebe are like, what accident? And then Sanem, quick as she is, invents an inside joke that it's something between her and John, talking about remembering, forgetting, an accident, blah blah blah. He sees what she's trying to do, plays along kind of, but then tells her, because we got the campaign, there's a party and you're invited as well. Nihat and Mefkebe are really happy about that and tells Sanem that she should go and get ready, but she doesn't want to. Then we have John angrily calling Emre, being really frustrated. Why did you tell me to go there? She doesn't want to come, blah blah blah. He's really frustrated that she didn't accept the invitation and telling Emre that he's very close to leaving again. Emre is trying to calm him down, tells everybody else, so Leyla, JJ, Muzo and Daran, about the situation that Sanem didn't accept the invitation, blah blah blah, and JJ has an idea. So we have Leyla and Emre already dressed for the party really nicely, waiting for the taxi. Wanting to go to the taxi, Leyla tries once again to convince Sanem to come as well, but she's like, no, I don't want to. While all of this is happening, we see Ayça getting the news that Sanem won't come to the party, and that please look, I was like. Anyways, after Leyla left, we see Nihat getting a huge order that needs to be delivered to Bykos, and I was like, JJ is behind that because he had that idea before. Anyways, at the party we have JJ, Dagan and Muzo not really liking Ayça's aura and the way she behaves near John, and she was always quite close to him, and I was like. Then we see Sanem coming with the delivery, her just walking through, and that's the house from the pictures that I talked about in my last review. Anyways, Sanem is quite shocked to see everybody, and then she kind of understands what is going on. We also see how this whole ordering process happened, Muzo changing his voice, ordering a lot of things. And before Sanem wants to leave and getting angry about what was happening, she sees Ayça and John quite in a corner being alone, and I was like. Anyways, so everybody is trying to make her stay. She stays a little bit. Then we have this amazing scene that wasn't really that necessary, but it was nice to incorporate also the director, Çağrı. And I think, I don't know what her job is behind the scenes, but I've seen her in a lot of pictures, like the first woman waiting to go to the toilet. So I really enjoyed that scene. It was so hilarious. And then creepy Ayça is watching Canem, and I was like, how desperate can you be, woman? Anyways, we also see Muzo asking JJ where he's actually from. JJ telling him just quietly so nobody can hear it, and Muzo was quite shocked. Well, I'm like, I want to know as well, like this is the biggest mystery in the whole series. But anyways, we see Mefkebe and Nihat sitting outside in the garden with their table full of food. Nihat wanting to eat, Mefkebe insisting on him not to eat until Sanem is also there because she wants to eat all three of them, blah blah blah. She calls Sanem, Sanem doesn't pick up, she calls Leyla. Or before that, Nihat tells Mefkebe that Sanem has a delivery to Bykos, and Mefkebe puts two and two together because that's where Leyla is. So she then FaceTimes Leyla. Leyla gives the phone to Sanem, and Mefkebe is like, well, who's also there? And then Sanem goes one by one, and then John takes the phone. I was like, oh my god. And then Mevkebe kind of getting angry, being like, well, I'm not stupid, you made the order. But poor John doesn't understand what is going on, what is Mevkebe even talking about. But then Sanem takes the phone back and explains the situation, that it was actually JJ and Muzo. So Sanem wants to leave because her mother says so. Everybody is trying to stop her. Ayça comes, are you leaving already? Anyways, Sanem goes outside to the scooter, wants to just get away. Ayça goes to John and is like, well, we're so alike, I'm so sick of this party already, blah blah blah, like so much BS. Anyways, John is not really in the mood, leaves as well. Then we see everybody in front of the house trying to stop Sanem, but then she's too stubborn and they leave her to leave. John comes out, sits on the scooter, says don't leave. I'm really sorry if you hear any noise from downstairs, I can't control this. Anyways, Sanem wants to have a reason why she shouldn't go. John is like, I know I can't explain what I'm feeling. And then we have them talking and Ayça being the creep, watching them once again. And then Sanem being like, I know your heart remembers me somewhere really faintly, but just let time go by and it will disappear forever. And then John is like, what if I don't want it to disappear? What if I don't want to let go? And then she says, you will, because you're albatros, but you're just not mine. And I was like, no, Sanem, please don't say those words. After she says that, she drives off. He's looking after her, like so much sadness in his eyes, and him kind of being desperate and understanding, oh my god, she's really slipping through my fingers. And then he sees Ayça standing there, her trying to get to him, but he's like, oh my god, just please leave me alone. Like his facial expression was 10 out of 10. I loved it because you could really see his annoyance. And then he drives off. We then see him by the seaside looking at a Janem picture and just seeing his frustration, that he realizes, oh my god, she's leaving again. Then we have Nihat and Mevkebe questioning Sanem, who ordered everything, blah blah blah. Anyway, she tells them that she really needs a vacation, that she wants to visit the old town. She already bought a train ticket. Anyways, the next day we see Sanem saying goodbye to everybody else, her driving to the train station with a taxi. John in the background, maybe he wanted to talk to Sanem, I don't know. Anyways, he's following the taxi to the train station. Then we have this amazing Janem music. So we have Sanem at the train station, John desperately looking for her, and then he gets to her, John telling her not to go, and he has this albatros clip in his hand and she recognizes it. He says, well, you gave it to me, and she's like, no, you gave this to me. And then what he said was like, oh my god, I'm still getting emotional because that was perfection. Anyways, he says he knows he doesn't remember a lot, but he understands that he can't be without her, that in the last couple of days he didn't sleep a lot because she was constantly on his mind. And him also telling her, please don't go, please don't deprive me of being the happiest or luckiest person in the world. So basically telling her that he fell in love with her for a second time. And then he's like, can you say something? And she's like, no. And I was like, Sanem, don't do anything stupid. Please relax and don't do anything stupid. And what does she do? She kisses him. And I was like, yes, yes, yes. And what a kiss. I mean, honestly, I wish that kiss would have been longer, but I'm also happy that it happened. So I'm not complaining, but I'm also complaining a little bit. It could have been a little bit longer. Anyways, we have Nihat, Mevkebe and Emre talking about John, how different they are, blah blah blah. Layla coming running with her phone in her hand. So basically, Sanem told her what happened. Her telling everybody the good news that John and Sanem are back together. Everybody is so... Excuse me, this is a very important review. Anyways, everybody is really happy that John and Sanem are back together. Layla also calls the agency. Everybody is around Daran's phone listening to the news that John and Sanem are back together. Everybody is so happy. They're having a dance party. Muzo putting on some music, them dancing, being all happy. Ayça comes and I'm like, you're not needed here, but at the same time I want to see her face when she gets the news. So she gets to Daran because she wanted to do her job. Anyways, Daran tells her the amazing news that John and Sanem are back together, and her face, I was like, in your face, girl. Anyways, then we have Janem sitting under a tree in the park, them talking about their future, what they're going to do next. A frisbee comes, they start playing with the kids. Then we also have them at the seaside, which we already saw in the trailer, where they talk about what's going to happen next. And Sanem is like, do you remember what you said to me, what will happen after the world tour? And he's like, well, how can I remember? I don't know, you tell me. And she's like, no, you have to tell me as soon as you remember. Then we have John driving Sanem home, and they're about to kiss, and who interrupts? Melahat being like, I laughed so much, it was just so hilarious. And then John trying to kiss Sanem twice while all of this was happening. It was just so chaotic. Anyways, the next day we have John sitting on his terrace and having flashbacks, and him starting to remember everything. And I think it's because the pressure is off. He's back with Sanem. Whatever he remembers, he remembers. He doesn't care anymore. He FaceTimes Sanem and wants to tell her that he wants to pick her up, but Layla says that she will have a sister day with her, so Emre and John can have a brother day. So we have Layla, Sanem and Miriban sitting together, Sanem telling Miriban the good news, and Miriban isn't really surprised because she's like, well, I saw that already. John didn't tell me anything, but he was so happy when he came back last night, so I knew that you're back together. Anyway, Sanem explains the whole situation that happened at the train station. At the same time, we also have Emre at John's place, John trying to get a hold of Aziz, telling him the good news, and Emre kind of making sure that Aziz isn't sick again. And John is like, no, that was last time. If something would have happened, I would have told you already. And then Emre has this flashback, and Emre is quite surprised and is like, so you remember? And John is like, no, but how can I forget something this important? And Emre is explaining to him that this happened within those 2 years that John can't remember. So they go to the doctors, explain the situation to him. The doctor explains also how something like this can happen, and tells John that his medicine is Sanem. And John is really happy, tells Emre that he's not allowed to tell Layla anything about it because he wants to keep it a secret from Sanem a little bit longer. Then we have the scene from the trailer where only John and Sanem are in his office trying to work on the campaign, and then Sanem mentioning something about music, and he's like, oh, now that you say music, and she's like, oh, you remember something? And he's like, yeah, well, not really, but I was at a rock concert, blah blah blah, just what we saw in the trailer. And her getting really angry because he remembers other things but not her, and Emre watching both of them having a laugh because he sees what John is actually doing, because he just wants to see her reaction. So anyways, Sanem gets really riled up, really angry, walks out, talks to Layla, venting to her. Emre comes to John. John is like, come, we have to watch this. And then they're at his door watching Sanem getting really angry, talking to Layla. Anyways, John is like, watch this. So he goes there in the middle of the agency and then tells everybody, well, I'm going to have a party at my place because we got the campaign, and you know what, it's going to be a cheekofte party. And it's a hint to Sanem, kind of, and she's like, what? Cheekofte, where did that come from? Anyways, Jen is also calling Mevkebe, inviting Nihat and Mevkebe, and Melahat is coming along. So then we see Jan making those cheekofte with Miriban's help, and we see Daran, JJ and Muzo coming with music, starting to dance. Layam and Sanem also coming, starting to dance, having a pre-party kind of, and Jan putting a lot of pepper in the cheekofte. Anyways, we see everybody at the table, Miriban, Nihat, Mevkebe, Melahat, the whole team there, and Jan insisting on Sanem getting the first cheekofte, but it's so spicy that she can't get it down, and he's looking very pleased. And then he says some things that makes her remember the time when she made cheekofte for him, and that's when she realizes that he remembers, and she's so happy, and everybody's so happy that he finally remembers everything. Then we have them all having a party at night we have Emre starting with the toast, and then everybody is saying a little bit. Then Sanem wants to make a toast, starts talking, but there's this buzzing noise. Jun is like, okay, but Sanem gets so angry because it's not going away, and then we see this drone with something hanging from it, and then the drone gets closer and closer. Sanem more and more angry. He gets the ring from it, goes on one knee, and I was like, oh my god, like this is a proper proposal, because the previous one was just like, okay, but this one is a proper proposal. Anyways, everybody realizes what is happening. He proposes, asks if she wants to marry him, and she's like, well, basically yes, and nobody understands what she wants to say with that. And then she says, well, first you have to ask my parents for my hand. And then he says, okay, I will come and do the traditional things that have to be done before a wedding. And then she accepts his proposal, and they're all so happy, and it was like so emotional, and it was perfection. Anyways, we see Can at Sanem's place. Everybody is gathered. Sanem is downstairs making the coffee, being really nervous, and Nihat is like, I'm giving her away, like not really waiting for the traditional conversation to happen. And then Merkebe being like, you're the father of the bride, you have to be tougher, blah blah blah. It was just so hilarious. It was so chaotic. And then Sanem is coming, and then them trying to do it all again. Miribam being from Can's side, like asking for Sanem's hand in Can's name. And then when Nihat was about to say it, he just freezes, and everybody's like, oh my god, what is happening? He just froze. And then he turns to Merkebe and is like, was the wait long enough? It was just so hilarious. I laughed so much at that scene. And then everything happened quite quickly. Them getting engaged, Nihat giving her away. It was amazing. Like, you have to see this episode, because I can't really put it into words how many things were happening at the same time. You have to look at every person individually, because it was just perfection. Anyways, then we have the preview. Can and Sanem walking down the dock, her in her wedding gown, saying goodbye to everybody. And I really love the music during that scene. Sanem gives Nihat like a paper boat, and there's something written on it, and I didn't have the translation for it. So if anybody has a translation for it, please leave me a comment down below, because I would love to know what is written on that boat. Then we have the scene from the trailer where Sanem is in the hospital screaming for Can. What did you do to me? This is all your fault. And then him being like, well, you have to thank me, because it all happens quite quickly. And it's like basically saying, well, 3 at a time and you'll get over it, and you don't have to do this again. It was just so hilarious. And then seeing the 3 kids jumping on the trampoline, them coming, sitting there, they're still living on Miriban's like grounds, and just being a happy family. Like, I got so emotional. Like, since the proposal I cried non-stop, with a little bit of laughing from that traditional engagement thing, and then him being like, well, I will sleep on your lap, please read me something, or something like that. Anyway, she reads from her second book, I gathered, and then she invents something. Then there's this whole chase happening, them laughing so much with the kids. It was just like so emotional, and just talking about it gets me once again emotional. And then them laying on the ground with the kids on them, looking at each other, laughing, and to see them this happy, it's just like, and that's the end. And because I don't have any more predictions to make, I was thinking to talk a little bit about the things that I liked and didn't like throughout the whole Erkenci series. Let's start with the negative things. What I didn't like were the goodbyes from certain characters. I've already mentioned it many times. I didn't like the goodbye of Aylin, Fabri, Osman, and I also didn't like Yiğit's exit. Those weren't very satisfying in my opinion. They could have prolonged it a little bit longer, like for Fabri and Aylin, seeing them in prison, Osman saying goodbye to everybody else as well, not just to Layla, Yiğit not just disappearing and leaving a note. I really wanted for Sanem to know the truth about what really happened, but then it would have spoiled the Mama David Can relationship. So it's like, okay, but Mama David could have talked her way out of it, kind of saying that he blackmailed her or something like that. What I've missed in the last episode was Mama David and Aziz. Honestly, they could have been there as well. What else didn't I like? The last couple of episodes, you could really see that they were pressured to finish everything off in a short period of time. But positive thing is that they made the most of it. They tied most of the loose ends. But after watching so many Turkish series, I'm kind of used to it, so I'm like, man. Positive side is by far the story. It's something I've never seen before. People say, well, it's similar to Kiralık Aşk, blah blah blah. Of course, the core story, rich guy, poor girl, them falling in love, not really being able to be together, stuff like that. It's like the basic storyline that you find everywhere in the world. Of course, they're going to milk that storyline, but a lot of things were so unexpected, and a lot of things were just things that I've never seen before, and I really love that. And especially because Erkenci had a really realistic timeline. So people always complain, well, when are they going to be together, blah blah blah, she's still angry at him or he's still angry at her. Because in real life, you don't fight with a person and then the next day you're back together. No, you have to work through things. You have to find your way back together, and that's what really drew me into this storyline. Of course, Can and Demet were the main thing, especially Can because I knew him before. I didn't really know Demet that well, but them two kept me watching, and also the story, and everybody in the cast was amazing, like so talented, and their chemistry. What I hoped to see in the last episode was everybody else, Muzo, JJ, Deren, having a happy ending. Oh, I also missed Bulut and Dennis. Like, they could have been there as well, in my opinion. But looking back at the final episode, did I like it? No, I didn't like it. I loved it. Was it a bad ending? Not at all, because it gave me the impression, okay, Erkenci is over, they're happy, they're finally living their lives happily ever after. So it's not really an open ending, only if you're looking through the details. But looking at the bigger picture, it was a perfect ending. I've seen way worse, trust me. It was just the perfect ending, and I don't know what else to say than thank you to the whole team, to the amazing cast, Can and Demet, for bringing this amazing story to life, taking us on this amazing journey. It has been an amazing year for me, watching Erkenci Kuş. Also, doing this review, I've never thought that I would do something like that. What else can I say? Thank you very much to everybody who watched my review series, and yeah, I really appreciated it. And I don't know, I think I'm going to take a little break, focus on some exams, on other things than Erkenci Kuş, but I don't regret anything. So because I've got that question quite a lot, if I'm watching a new series, at the moment I'm not watching any series. So if you have any recommendations, leave them in the comments, just so you know what kind of vibe I'm having while watching Turkish series. Just watch my Let's Talk About Turkish series video. I personally love rom-coms. As soon as I found a new series that I enjoy, I will be back with my reviews. Maybe I will do some other types of videos that I did in the past, I don't know, but I really do hope that you will stick around my channel and click that bell to be notified, so you know when I'll be back with a new video. Anyways, this is it for my review. It has been a pleasure to review Erkenci. It's really sad that it's over, but I'm also really happy to see Canım together. And as always, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, click on that bell to be notified whenever I post something. Comment down below your thoughts, your questions, whatever you want, your recommendations. Like, it's open down there. Like, now that sounded kind of weird, but like the comment section. Anyways, I'm talking way too much. Like, I think this heat is getting to my head. Anyways, I will see you hopefully very, very soon. Bye!